Hey, what is up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This weekend I'm at an event here in Ryshnov. The event is a little bit further up, but there are a lot of bikes to test, and we also have our own bikes on display. But I have taken this for a little bit of a test ride. I know it looks ancient, it looks like a 50-year-old motorcycle, but actually this is a brand spanking new motorcycle. It's called the Benelli Imperiale 400, and I got a bit of specs on it. Now, the interesting thing about this Benelli, unlike other retro style bikes which use a modern engine, this uses a modern engine in the terms of the modern way it's produced, but it's actually an old school engine. That means a long piston stroke, air cooled, high torque, low RPM. So we got a 374cc single cylinder thumper putting out just 21 brake horsepower but 29 newton meters of torque at 3500 RPM. I've got the specs right here. We've got a 12-liter fuel tank here. We've got some knee pads here, front and rear ABS and disc brakes, both front and rear. So that's modern. The braking system is modern. We've got remote reservoir rear shocks, trying to update the old school style suspension. They work decently, but we'll see one on the road. We've got a Springer seat, which makes everything feel quite interesting. Oh shit bars for the passenger right here. Normal fork up front, halogen light, turn signals, but just take a look at this classic view. We've got a side stand and a center stand, huge rubber foot pegs, spoked wheels. I don't know what size wheels do we have. So in terms of wheel size, we've got 19 on the front, 18 on the back, with Pro Max tires. I don't know, you be the judge. But enough talking, let's ride this thing. We only have about half an hour with it, so let's see. On the dash we have our idiot lights right here, tachometer, speedometer, a small display here with odometer and a clock, and a fuel gauge right here. Controls, we have hazard lights, kill switch, engine on switch, high and low beams, passing light, turn signals, horn. Nothing out of the ordinary, and an adjustable brake lever. Let's get a sound check. You know, it sounds like an old school engine because it is an old school engine. It's an engine with a long piston stroke and only 8.5 to 1 compression ratio. That, let me close this because we have nothing in terms of windscreen up here, so there's no wind protection. But then again, this bike is not meant for going fast. This is in case you want a bike that feels like an old bike, and it does, but it feels like an old bike in the good sense. I mean, the turning is like an old bike. It kind of leans into the corner, but you kind of have to trust it. But in terms of braking, like here from 60, let's see, rear brake, we got ABS going, and that was just the rear. If we want a full emergency stop, we can just bring it to a halt. Come on, find a gear. That's it. The gearbox is a little bit clunky, but then again, it's an old style engine. Once you get going, the gearbox works fine. It feels like an old bike in the way it rides, in the way the engine feels, in the way the engine makes its power. I mean, up here it's 4,000 RPM, but I don't need to go up there. 3,000, remember, 3,500 is maximum torque. So I'm poodling along in 5th gear at 70 kilometers an hour, going 3000 RPM, and you hear that thumping sound of an old style motorcycle. Just go for it. You don't need a higher gear. 90 kilometers an hour, 4000 RPM, the engine is chugging along nicely. It does feel like I'm on a 40-year-old motorcycle, but the thing I like is the fact that it has modern brakes with modern ABS, so you feel like you're on an old bike. You have that classic motorcycle emotions, but then when you need to, you can just stomp on the brake and the bike stops like any modern motorcycle. Now, in case you want to rev it out, yeah, it goes up to 6000 RPM, but there's not much up there, believe me, there's not much up there. That being said, we're in 4th gear and we're doing 110. But then again, this bike, keep it in a higher gear, use the torque, the low down torque of the bike. It just pulls you like a tractor after the corners. In terms of suspension, well, the suspension is, well, it's an old school style suspension. You can put modern shocks on it like they have, but you're never gonna do miracles with an old style frame, an old style suspension. You're never gonna do miracles, but it's decent. And the fact that it has a Springer seat, it makes it interesting, because when you hit the bumps, you kind of bounce up and down on the seat. It's a little bit disconcerting at first, but you can actually get used to it, and it's quite fun, to be perfectly honest. And I just love the fact that we're on this mountain road, weaving into the corners, going up to 90 kilometers an hour, back down to 60, and I'm just leaving it in 5th gear, just using the torque of the engine. Between 60 and 80 kilometers an hour in 5th gear is maximum torque. So if we're between 70 and 90 kilometers an hour, we're always in maximum torque area. Just like that. I like this, 90 kilometers an hour, 4000. This is where this bike is happy. Yeah, it will lean into a corner. It's not very happy about it. You can try to be a little bit more sporty with it, but it really wasn't made for this. This was made for cruising, for enjoying the outdoors, the scenery. This is actually a bike with which you can do some serious miles, because in terms of seating position, I am bolt upright. The handlebars are in a very nice position. The seat is comfortable. The tank is right here. You can easily grip it with your knees. And because of the rubber that you have on the foot pegs and the fact that you don't rev out the engine, there are barely any vibrations to speak of. I don't know if it's a rubber mounted engine, to be honest. I don't think it is, but there are barely any vibrations. So it's actually quite a comfortable bike to ride. I'm surprised about that, even though a windscreen would have been nice on it to make it a proper tourer. But otherwise, I'm perfectly fine. The sitting position is nice and comfy. It's relaxed. My feet are not being vibrated to death. Chuck it into the... Okay, let's see now. Into the bends. Come on, Benelli. Up we go. Let's see if we can get some sound out of it. You know, it pulls. It pulls. In terms of weight, this is 205 kilograms, which is a bit of a heavy weight for such a little bike, 400cc. But then again, it's a cradle frame. It's an old school style motorcycle. What do you expect? I mean, you can't have everything. But you know what? It pulls. Come on, Benelli. Uphill overtaking maneuver. We're doing 100 uphill. This is actually nice. On the brakes, down a cog, down a second cog, blip the throttle, apex the corner. Oh, come on, you pig! Use the torque on the way out. Short shifted to keep it in the torque. This is such a fun bike. Oh my god. Come on. And the noise, I hope the camera picks up this noise because it's absolutely gorgeous. The thumping sound of a little thumper raving out. Instantly I'm transported into the 50s. And I'm Steve McQueen. Running away from the Nazis. Just escaped the camp. They're right behind us. Come on, boys. We're punching up in the German mountains, looking to get back to Britain and fight the war again. It's quite fun. Yeah, it's not fast. It's never gonna be fast. It's never meant to be fast. What it's meant to be, it's meant to be an occasion. And this is an occasion. Come on. Such a fun little bike. I mean, if you're looking for a second or a third bike, something to go out on the weekends and enjoy every second with it, this is an awesome motorcycle. Such an awesome bike. 2,500 RPM. Climbing without problem. Yeah, there's enough power here to have fun. I'll put it like this: there's enough power to have fun. If you keep it in its normal torque band, there's enough to have fun. It's not gonna set your trousers on fire. Down to second. Lean it in. And on these hills in this forest, the sound echoing off the trees. This is an event, I tell you. This is an occasion. This is a bike you look forward to riding, not because it's fast, not because of anything. You look forward to riding it because you enjoy riding it, because it feels old school. Otherwise, the fit and finish of the bike is what I would call decent. I love that you have analog dials here. I mean, I'm really happy Benelli decided not to go with some digital display because it really doesn't fit the motorcycle. I mean, when I hear the sound of a little thumper thumping away underneath me, I want to look down and see a tachometer just bouncing up and down and a speedometer climbing. I really wish the speedometer would shake a little bit. That would have made it a little bit more authentic. No, like old school speedometers, it would shake a little bit. That would have made it a lot of funnier, but people probably wouldn't have liked it. And I love that what they put digital on it is actually fairly minimal. You have the fuel gauge, you have your gear position indicator right here, and your odometer in your clock. That's it. That's all the digital displays you have. That's all you need. You don't need any more. And otherwise, I love the chrome on the handlebars. Sometimes the chrome catches the sun and it just shines a little bit of light in your face. Not something that's that blinds you, but just draws a bit of your attention to the chrome that you have on the handlebars. I don't know, again, adds to the drama of the motorcycle. This is a bike about feelings. This is not a bike about specs, about going fast, about anything. This is a bike about feelings, that's it. You ride it because you want to ride it, because, like I've said, you want to be Steve McQueen in The Great Escape, running away from the POW camp. It's just awesome. Let's put it in here. I mean, just look at it. Say you parked it and you get off it. This is the view you have, with this beautiful work of an exhaust, and just listen to it. This is 1950s technology, but with modern metalworking processes. So this engine, you won't have to change anything in it for a lot of kilometers, unlike old school bikes, which basically half the time don't even work. Now let's go back before we get into trouble, and let's see downhill how the brakes hold out. I am sensing a little bit of heat from the engine, but not much. Again, because it's a, let me close this, because it's a low compression engine, it doesn't put out quite that much heat, even though it's air cooled. I feel a bit of a warm draft on my thighs and on my calves, but today is a very warm day and it's not unpleasant. Downhill, it pulls downhill, but then again it doesn't pull downhill, it falls downhill. But the brakes are nice and strong, good lever feel on the front. Chuck it into the corner. Once again, we're not setting our pants on fire, but we're having fun. We're making noise. We're burning dino juice for our enjoyment and for our pleasure. That's the point of motorcycling, burning dino juice for your enjoyment. And every once in a while, on the overrun, you get maybe one pop or crackle, and I really hate Euro 5 for that, because this engine should have fizzled. On the overrun, it should have been like a little machine gun, but nothing. Sometimes it does a pop. Sometimes it does a, but that's about it. Nothing too extremes in terms of popping. And I know old school engines would have popped, but because this has a catalytic converter, because this is Euro 5, it no longer, those pops are arrested before they get outside, before you could hear them, which is a real shame. Oh yeah, and one more thing I forget, this bike is not carbureted, it's fuel injected, okay? So in case somebody is asking, it's fuel injected. We're actually keeping up with the pickup, and it's not like it's slowing me down, so that's how not fast this bike is. There's a pickup on a mountain road, and I don't feel like passing him, because I don't think I can go much faster than he is going. But I don't care. I don't care that I'm slow. I don't care that I take corners at half the speed I would on my scooter. That's not the point of this bike. I'm enjoying it. That's the point of the bike. Are there better bikes all around? Yes. Are there more practical bikes? Of course. Are there more powerful bikes, even at 400 cc's? Yes. Can any of them do what this does? No. There are a very small handful of bikes that still use a classic style engine with modern metalwork. So you don't have to change the piston rings every 10 minutes. You don't have to adjust the valves every other day. No. This will work and will be as reliable as any other modern engine. It has electronic fuel injection, it's Euro 5. What else would you want? So If you're looking and thinking about buying an old school 50-year-old motorcycle, 60-year-old motorcycle, if you are mechanically inclined, if you know how to fix it yourself, then by all means. Or if you are, I don't know, emotionally attached to a certain model, again, by all means. But if you just want the experience of an old bike, but with the modern peace of mind of modern brakes with ABS, so in case the situation gets tits up, you can actually use the brakes to stop. Unlike my 91 Transalp, which the brakes were merely a suggestion, not actual stopping power. You could look at something like this. I know Royal Enfield also has the Meteor, I think, which is a 350 in the same way as this. Unfortunately, at this event, Royal Enfield is present, but not with the Meteor. So I can't test it. Let's get this truck out of the way. So when you need to, you can use a bit of power. Come on. Now let's have some fun. Yeah, boy! Into the S's. Bumpy road ahead. Let's see the suspension work on this bump. Decent. I felt it, but to be honest, it kept its line perfectly. I mean, I felt the bump, the whoop, but the bike didn't shake itself to pieces. Down to second gear. That's what I'm thinking about brakes. It's hard to overcook it into a corner and then power out. What I would have liked a little bit more is a little bit more feel in the gear change lever, because it works perfectly fine. I can find that it's no problem. It's in a nice position. It's comfortable. But I would have liked to feel a bit of a click every time I change gear, because it's a little bit numb. I mean, I know how to change gear, but you barely feel any clunk, any... I would have liked it to be more like how when you load a bolt rifle. Kind of that feeling. It would go perfectly with the style of this bike. Honestly, the Pan America of all bikes had that. I mean, you had to really give the gear lever a big kick in order to... a proper kick. I mean, when you wanted to change gear, you had to mean it. And I would have liked that on this bike. Sure, it makes it a lot easier to ride for many riders because it's a lighter gear change, but I think it would have suited the character of the bike a lot better. But other than that, I mean, these are small niggles. I'm searching, you know what, let's break. Old school motorcycles are supposed to be able to do off-road. So, let's see a dirt track. A little bit back on the saddle. Open this up. Let us see where this road goes, because that's what an old bike is supposed to do. Oh, it goes to a gate. Aww. Shitballs. Well, I guess we tried. But in terms of off-road ability, you push yourself back on the Springer seat. It's actually fine. With a 19-inch front and an 18-inch back, no problem. Second gear, ABS, works on the gravel. Front ABS, works on gravel. What an awesome machine. Is that a road? That's the purpose of a bike. You're supposed to enjoy it. Ah, this is a road. Ah, it goes up a mountain. Now, come on. It's not our bike. I'm pretty sure, I'm confident it will go up that. I'm fairly confident it would go up that, no problem. But it's not my bike and I don't want people to get mad because they're probably gonna watch this video. Sorry, Raul. You should know better than to give me bikes to test. Come on. Oh, what a fun little machine. What's down here? I'm gonna get into trouble for this. I'm probably gonna have no more friends. Whee! Just like old school bikes in a field. A lot of gopher holes around here. Let's hope I don't fall in a big hole. But you know, again, using an old school frame, old school suspension, old school wheel sizes, it works, okay? Just like old bikes used to work off-road, this one feels perfectly at home off-road on a dirt road. I'm surprised by that, although I shouldn't be. I mean, if the recipe is the same, then it's probably gonna handle the same. I wonder, could you actually daily something like this? Maybe with the top case on the back, because you have no luggage options as it comes standard. But with some saddlebags on the back, I don't know if a top case would look good on this. It probably wouldn't, but a couple of saddlebags would work perfectly with it. So yeah, I'm impressed with it. Let's say that. I'm impressed with it. I was expecting to feel an old school engine because of the specs, and the engine does feel old school, but then again it feels good. It feels like a proper motor. Torquey, revs out. Red line is at 6,000, but it's a decent red line. But the point of the bike is to use the torque, so if you ride it as it's intended, it's a heck of a lot of fun. And otherwise, the bike is built properly, it feels well put together, the brakes work like modern brakes, which I love this. The fact that you have the benefits of an old bike but without the caveats or the headaches of an old bike. It's just a wonderful toy. If you like the classics, you're gonna love this one. You know, I would really love to turn one of these into a touring bike with like some saddlebags, like a windscreen right up to here. A nice little windscreen, maybe some bar risers to get the bars just a little bit higher to have an upright riding position, because with the windscreen I wouldn't have any wind on my chest. This would make for an interesting touring bike. I'm sure you can probably get about 200 or 300 kilometers out of a tank, which is decent. The tank is key operated. It would be quite fine to try to turn one of these into a proper touring machine. And I think it would be a pretty fun touring machine. But that's it, everyone. I'm back at the event. Thank you all so much for watching, for liking the videos, for subscribing. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care out there and ride safe. Goodbye.